What's going on, everybody? Welcome to a brand new season, brand new episode of Enter the Lab with the lovely E and my boy C. Henry. Today's episode, we're going to talk about is the number one player in this draft in trouble after the incidents at the draft. We also talk about some of the players with some combine results and NFL free agency. Stay tuned.
What's up, y'all? Welcome to Enter the Lab with my boy DT, C. Henry, and you know your one and only Lady E. Mwah. What's up, y'all? This is your girl E. So let's talk about it. The number one player in the draft, my boy, coming from the home state of Georgia, Jalen Carter. Unfortunate events happened in January right after the celebration of the big back-to-back Natty Parade. Unfortunately, UGA did lose a player and a staff member. May they rest in peace due to a drunk driving accident. As we know, Jalen got that arrest warrant. Shout out to Athens PD. Anyway, so just to give y'all a little roundabout, supposedly Jalen Carter was racing in what we call a Tomahawk Challenger. Well, unfortunate events happen, as we know, but I'm not going to sit over and say that he should be falling down the draft boards because, again, he was really, in a sense, not the major cause of the accident. Racing, yeah, we don't do that. But unfortunately, he is a part of that investigation. They're still looking into it. But hopefully my boy comes out. He doesn't fall too far down the draft board, but rumor mill has it that supposedly that's what's going on. But it's just a misdemeanor charge with reckless driving, and hopefully this can all get cleared up so my boy can get on the field and show y'all what he's really about. Shout out to you, Jalen. Love you.
All right, this is a brand new season of Enter the Lab with the lovely E and C. Henry. And you probably figuring out I am one of the new hosts on the show. Glad to have this opportunity to see you. What's up with you guys?
What's going on, DT? Glad to be here, man. Welcome to the show.
Yes, glad to have you. It's going to be a fun season because, C. Henry, I'm coming for you this year.
Ah, okay. We're going to see how that works out, man. I don't want no beef. Man.
Hey, look, I was told that you two are pretty rowdy, so let's go ahead and get started with this. So we're going to the NFL Combine, and we talked about a lot of these highly acquirable prospects, and we can go ahead and start with quarterback position. Anthony Richardson, he's a very polarizing figure this year. To me, it wasn't a surprise that he was going to blow the combine away with his physical gifts. But at the end of the day, he's still the quarterback. He plays the most important position in all of sports. So my thing was, okay, how you're going to look next to a CJ Stroud? How are you going to look to a Aiden O'Connell, a guy from Purdue? Like, are you improving that much from that position? And I got to say, it was a total difference, but I did see some improvement from him, and his stock is just going to skyrocket right now. So I'm just going to throw the floor to y'all. What do y'all think about Anthony Richardson in this pre-draft process?
Honestly, I'm gonna be honest with you. I really think that he actually needed to stay back, that he needed to be in college for one more year. I didn't see enough consistency and actually kind of, listening. If you guys are on Twitter, you know that the spaces are booming right now with talk of Anthony Richardson, especially him coming to my team, which I don't see it happening, but you never know. So I just really believe that, there was a confidence level that was there. The coach that he had really didn't get him into prime position to be able to, showcase his throwing skills. We see him as a runner. So the 40, I'm not going to sit over and say that I needed to see that. He didn't need to do that. What I needed to see him is, can he throw? Can he sit there and throw simple routes? Because I know you got the deep ball. That's fine. But can we do a curl? Can we do a slant? Can we do, little dink and donks here and there? And he does not have that ability for me. So I feel like if he does go in the first round, that is going to be a team that's going to take a chance on him. But he's a pure developmental player. He needs about 1 or 2 years before he can even be named a starter.
I'm gonna tell you what. I didn't really know much about Anthony Richardson going into last year, and I had to give a shout out to young Slim, who put us up on Anthony Richardson very early in the college season. So I was down to check him out because he spoke very, very highly of Anthony Richardson. And I'm not gonna lie to you. Upon initial recognition of him, I was a little bit underwhelmed, I must say. Definitely has some great physical tools. He has a big arm. He's definitely a great athlete, can do things with his feet. But when it comes to his game in the pocket and playing from the pocket, it just wasn't there. It just didn't click. And I don't know if it was that he needed better coaching, if he needed more experience. I kind of side with UE in terms of him needing probably to go back to school for another year to kind of hone his skills a little bit. But when I look at him and quarterbacks who are very similar to him, who've come out recently, like just look to last year in your team, Desmond Ridder and guys like Malik Willis. Those guys, to me, in my opinion, were a little bit farther along developmentally wise. Definitely a little bit farther along in the passing game. And even those guys, well, Desmond Ridder and Malik Willis, I think were 3rd-round picks. So to me, he's kind of getting elevated a little bit this year. I don't want to talk bad on him, you know what I mean? But I got to call it like I see it. I like to be objective. And I don't know. I don't know if he, Mitch Trubisky blew some folks away at the combine when he came out. Zach Wilson last year blew some folks away at the combine when he came out. So I don't know if he's one of those guys, but I think he's going to definitely need some development. It's crazy. Like you said, DT, he's definitely a polarizing prospect right now. There's a lot of fan bases, Detroit's included. We're always looking for the next best thing. We're always looking for, possibly a lot of folks have bought into this. You need a rookie quarterback to win in the NFL now. I mean, we've seen Ben Roethlisberger. He won as a rookie, but also won very well late into his career. We just saw Mahomes, who won he may still be on his rookie deal, but I know that $500 million is coming very, very soon. So there's many ways to skin a cat. But I don't know. I'm not going to say I'm totally out on Anthony Richardson, but I would not waste any of my first-round capital or top 10, top 15 capital on Anthony Richardson right now.
Yeah. Agree.
Just a friendly reminder, Florida's Pro Day will be March 28th, so all eyes will be on Anthony Richardson that day.
What's up, everybody? It's your boy, C. Henry, the host and producer of the Fellas Present Sports Rap podcast. I discuss the latest happenings around the NFL, college football, the NBA, and also the latest from the Detroit sports scene. I try to keep it informative and funny, and we always keep it light with some of my hip-hop favorites mixed in as interludes. Follow me at CHEN313 on Twitter. That's at CHEN313. And also subscribe to the show on Anchor, Spotify, and Google Podcasts. And again, that's DA, Fellas Presents Sports Rap Podcast.
So another prospect that we can talk about that I feel like a lot of people forgot about during the draft process. Now, this young man was injured during the season, things like that. But when you see the physical gift and ability from this young man, you're just going to be blown off the doors with him. And this is Lady E, one of her children. This is Nolan Smith, the defensive end out of Georgia. This guy is a baller. Kind of shocked me, but I shouldn't be shocked because Georgia for the last couple of years in the college game have been recruiting crazy on defense, have freshmen starting all over the place. And, man, look, he just blew the doors away. I think he just let people know, it's like, did y'all forget about me?
Yeah.
Y'all talking about my boy Jalen Carter. I need that bread too. So let's go ahead with you, E. This is your baby in Georgia.
Yes.
What do you think about New Orleans' performance?
I'm gonna say that I wasn't shocked, but I was shocked. Let me just say that. No, again, I'm glad everybody got to see what Georgia got to see for the years that he played. He actually could have came out with that, history-making defense last year with Jordan Davis, Nakobe Dean, all of them guys, Trayvon Walker. He really actually could have, but he promised his mama that he'll finish and get his degree, so he did stay. And the team is really going to miss that leadership ability. That's one thing I do like about Nolan Smith is that you have a leader. So, you know, hey, those numbers are good. He did let everybody know that he's out there, and I'm not gonna lie to you, he made him some money. So hopefully, you know, I'm still gonna be out and say if a team really falls in love with him, top 15, top 20 maybe, but I still see him on the lower end, probably a high second round pick if you know, if there's just other guys that a lot of teams are looking at that fit better with their scheme. But I mean, at the end of the day, like, again, he's gonna be that type of person. He can run. He has the speed. If you ever seen him go sideline to sideline, he can get there. He can always do that. And then I know people are talking about with his tackles. Again, if you understand how Georgia runs their defense, we rotate guys a lot. That's why, like DT said, we have our freshmen out on the field. That's why we're able to do that and give a lot of our guys playing time. So for him to be able to be gracious enough to share those sacks with others, that just shows me. But again, he's a difference maker. The film does not lie. And I love him. So hopefully he makes me proud on the other side. But yes, y'all watch out for my boy Nolan.
Man, it's a little bit too much of a love fest going on for Mr. Nolan Smith. And I forgot, DT, that you are a Buckeye fan yourself. So I instantly got a bad taste in my mouth because I saw Nolan Smith doing this thing last year against my Wolverines. And I expected a lot more from him this year. But you did mention that he was injured. Mm-hmm. I didn't know how many games he missed. Definitely a physical marvel, if you will. Definitely made some money at the combine and did his thing. I will say this, though. I'm eager to see what his pro day looks like. Yeah. And I'm going to be honest with you. Objectively speaking, my man Trayvon didn't really do him no favors down there in Jacksonville. You know, he went out there. He blew up the combine last year, too. He was a in shorts All-American, too. You know what I'm saying? He was that guy. And messed around and fooled him so much that he became the #1 pick. But guess what he did? Damn near nothing. But that's okay. That's okay. This is Nolan Smith's moment, and I'm going to give him his time to shine. I want to see a little bit more from him. I've dug into the film a little bit. He looks explosive at the point of attack. He's very, very, very physical against the run. Definitely has that get off and that ability to chase plays down from the backside. But consistency is going to be key. Don't be fooled by the next Trayvon Walker. That's all I'm going to say. But God bless Nolan Smith and his mama, because at least he got his degree. Hallelujah.
Hold on.
First of all, I know he didn't try to take shots. Look, hold on. DT, wait a minute. Did the Wolverines just get blown out by TCU, who then got blown out by
See, no, we here to talk about the combine. We talking about moving forward. And I said he did his thing against my Wolverines, but that's okay. But like I said, we need to make sure that he's not fugazi like Trayvon Walker.
Okay.
This is a new game here. This is the NFL. You're not for long if you ain't real. That's all I'm going to say.
Oh, my God. Y'all already started early.
Already. It's okay.
I'm just saying.
I got him coming for him this year. So he better be ready.
Okay. So another prospect to look at so far for a lot of draft scouts and pre-draft evaluations, the #1 running back in this class as of right now is Bijan Robinson, the running back out of Texas. And you see him for a couple years. He's been in the Big 12, putting up big numbers and things like that. Great running style. He talks about monitoring his game after the great Barry Sanders, man. I think this guy is going to be a great player in the NFL. I just don't want him going to the Washington Commanders. Yeah, I'm talking about you, Telly, on Twitter. I'm talking about you on Twitter. But just had to get that shot out there. But I think this guy, he's going to have a great success in the NFL. He's going to be a guy that, you know, he can gather that first round conversation, even though, like, we look at the past with who drafted running backs in the first round. A lot of those teams that drafted running backs in the first round, some of them didn't really need that at a running back. Now, you're a team that is set up to win now, like a Kansas City or a Buffalo Bills. Yes, we can talk about taking a running back in the first round. So I'm going to go with, my boy C. Henry, since he knows about Barry Sanders and the talent he had in Detroit. What are your thoughts about Bijan, his performance at the Combine, what you think he can do in the NFL level?
Man, I'm glad you came here, man. Bijan is another polarizing guy around these parts. Just me personally, how I feel about things in the draft situation, draft process. I love talent. And I feel like if you feel like someone is going to be a special talent, not just good, not just very good, but if you feel they're going to be special, you take special over need. I think talent trumps need. And for us, it's not an immediate need. People like the way we ran the football last year with Jamal Williams, who is a free agent. And we had an exciting player along with, and DeAndre Swift as well. But DeAndre Swift has not been healthy any season this year. He's in his 4th year. He's in his last year. He's one of your Georgia boys. Why don't you never be touting him? You know what I'm saying? But anyway, so it's not an immediate need. It's not an immediate need. But at the same time, if you feel like Bijan is special, you got a guy who's in the last year of his deal who's not, who hasn't, shown a propensity to be injured. You got another guy in Jamal Williams who's a very, very solid guy, a very, very good guy for our locker room and culture. But at the same time, he's 28. He is aging, and he was brought here to be a change of pace back. The run that he got last year was extended because of Swift's injury. So with that being said, if I've got a special Bijan, I don't know. I may pick him at 6. I'm leaning away from that. But if I have him at a special Bijan and it gets to that 18th pick and a team like Philly hasn't grabbed him, I may swoop him up because the Detroit Lions, speaking from the Lions perspective, we have 2 picks in the first round, 6 and 18, and we also have 2 picks in the second round. So we have an opportunity to swing for the fences on 1 or 2 picks and go outside of need if need be. But to the point on Bijan, I have a very, 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 very hard time finding 10 players in this draft who have better consistent production and better consistent film than Bijan. He can play. He can run inside the tackles. He can run outside. He has enough speed to be a home run hitter. He can play in the slot. He can play outside. I've heard a lot of comparisons from to Saquon Barkley about him. So I'm very excited about him. Very interested to see where he lands in the draft because the running back position has been sort of devalued. I don't know if the talent level has gone down. I just think that teams look at the running back position a little bit differently now. We've seen guys like Jonathan Taylor, come out in the second round, and somebody on Twitter was saying, well, how's Bijan, rated as this top guy, and Jonathan Taylor came out in the second round. But Jonathan Taylor, having seen him at Wisconsin, did have a little bit of a fumbling issue and only caught, I believe, 20 passes in his college career. So he wasn't really seen as a receiving threat out of the backfield in the passing NFL. And he had a little bit of a fumbleitis. So with that being said, he got pushed back. This guy, the only downside, it's not really a downside and a slight to him. The only slightly question I have is, the Big 12, and people don't like when I say it, but the Big 12, it ain't a lot of defense over there. So was it really him or what was going on? But I'm going to tell you, I have a hard time finding 10 better players in this draft than Bijan, and I think he's going to be special. Buffalo, if they get a hold of him, watch out.
Yeah. I'm going to segment everything that Henry said. Again, a very explosive player, good player, very can hit the hole at good speed and pound, and he's hard to take down. Again, chatter is in the Falcons universe, that we want him. If we have it, if we go out for the best player available, we can. We just picked up Tyler Algier in the 5th round, and he became a 1,000-yard, running back this year. So, hey, that can help him, and we can sit over here and have Tyler as a change of pace and make him, the full-fledged. So again, I don't really have much to say about it, but hey, if he falls to number 8.
Hey y'all, what's up? It's your girl Lady E. Make sure y'all catch us on Falcons Tuesday. That's every Tuesday at 6:30 Eastern Standard Time. And for my people that live in the Central Time, 5:30. Okay, this is where we go down and we talk about the Falcons games. We talk about Falcons information, breaking news, everything. And if you even just want to vent about the Atlanta Falcons, come on, because baby, Dirty Bird Nation be ready for you and be ready to hear it. So like I said, catch us out on the spaces on Twitter. You can find me at Lady E_. Tell them. Love y'all. Mwah.
Man, and the final player that we're going to be looking at is actually one of the surprise players in this draft process and through the college football season, a former Colorado Buffalo recruit who transferred from Colorado and to Oregon, and that's Christian Gonzalez. This guy has been rising up draft boards in a very good class that we're going to be talking about in a couple of seconds. But I think this guy has all the goods. He has the speed, he has the size, the length, the ball skills, something that you really couldn't see at Colorado due to the fact of how, kind of down that program has been. We hopefully primetime can bring that up. But I think this guy has all the tools that you look at as like a Sauce Gardner or, or the other top corners you've seen in the past to be the number one corner in this draft. So I'm going to ask E, what are your thoughts on Gonzalez?
I mean, he killed it. One thing I look about when it comes down to corners, because the corner is my favorite position, I look at and see how open your hips are. That's one thing I need to know. Can you move? A lot of these players have tight hips. I'm talking about a particular player, but I'm not going to mention his name. But so when it comes down to it, he was in the drills doing it. I seen him play when we played against Oregon at the beginning of the season. So I did see him, and he was one of the bright stars that stood out. So looking at his film, he's explosive. I just feel like he was just kind of hidden because of Oregon and kind of how where they were. I didn't feel like Oregon pretty much did come alive until at the end of the season. But yeah, he was a hidden gem on that team. Once you really look into the film and I really look at it, I mean, he was making plays left and right. So again, I feel like he can come up. I don't know if he could be number one though. But I feel like, it's going to be a lot of teams that are going to be at that Oregon Pro Day that are really going to be paying attention to him and seeing if what they saw at the Combine is going to transition. So shout out to him, though, because I'm like, again, looking at the Combine and doing all that, he really made him some money. He really can. I see a top 10 pick, for real.
I'm definitely very, very high on Mr. Gonzalez as well as Devin Witherspoon and Joey Porter Jr. I know those three guys are at the top of that cornerback position, and they're definitely a position of need that we're looking at. I love his film. I love his size. I love that he's a very, very fluid corner, like you said. He moves very, very fluidly for a person his size. Gets in and out of breaks very, very well. Closes well. Has great ball skills. I just want to dive in a little bit more and see if which one he excels at more, zone or man coverage. We're more of a primarily man team. He looked like he was making some great plays in zone coverage. So I just want to make sure and see if he's a lockdown man guy for us. But I definitely know that we have some interest in him. Me personally, I don't know if I might be dealing with some Jeff Okudah fall off, man, some toxicity from that pick at 3. I don't know if I see a cornerback, I'm saying in that top 5 or 6, but if we were able to trade down possibly, and we may grab him at 6, but if we're able to trade down and add some additional capital, I would love to get either one of those, any of those cornerbacks in that 9, 10, 11, 12 range. So, if anybody's willing to come up and come get a quarterback, hey, talk to us. We open for business up here.
Oh, Lord.
And with all that being said, and Combine is over with, we got to talk about, as of right now, during this draft process, our teams are looking, they're getting their boards right, they're getting ready for these pro days, getting ready for these extra interviews, looking at these medicals. What is the top positions so far we've seen in this draft? And to me, I think because of the quarterback position is kind of complex. You're talking about Bryce Young size, things like that. I think to me it is O-line, cornerbacks, and tight ends this year. I think those 3 are probably the top positions to look at, especially the teams you're trying to build those core structures of your team.
Yep.
But the cornerback position, it is just absolutely deep at that position.
Yeah.
Like, I think for Washington, they are in a good situation where, okay, you might want to get a guy like Joey Porter. You want them guys to slide down. But if you know teams that are trying to get cornerback help, I say, okay, I might need to build my offensive line. And then second round, I can get me a Julius Brent from Kansas State, or I can get Ja'Cory Bennett from Maryland to help out in the secondary. So these guys right here, they're the top position to be. The cornerback group is just special this year.
Yeah, I agree. I hate to say this, but the wide receiver position was my least favorite. I didn't see a lot of good talent coming out of there. I do agree with the O-line, but I'll be honest with you, O-line every year, you're going to find you some good offensive lineman guys. You're going to find a lot of those. So I wasn't shocked about that quarterback group. We already know what we were looking for this year with the quarterbacks. But yes, that cornerback position, I will actually have to say D lineman, because the only reason I'm saying D lineman, because it was a lot of guys out there that had a lot of speed. So I feel like the D line position is getting a lot faster each year that I see it, because these guys are coming out running in the fours. They're not running in the fives anymore. They're running pure 4.7s, 4.8s. They're running this year. So yeah, but I will agree the top position will be that cornerback position.
I'm gonna be the trifecta there, and I definitely agree that the cornerback spot is definitely the strongest position in this draft so far, man. These guys are really, really running. They're really, really moving. It's a passing league, and you need 2 or 3 very solid cornerbacks in on your team if you want to compete. So I think that we're starting to see the evolution of the game kind of trickle down into, the defense is kind of adapting to to offenses and things of that sort. So I really like the defensive backfield and the cornerback position. DT, as you said, the tight end spot is deep this year. I think we're going to probably see for the first time in a couple years multiple tight ends taken in the first round. You got Michael Mayer, Kincaid, and of course your young man from Georgia who definitely had a great combine as well. So those are the 2 spots that I think are extremely deep. I'm a little bit the offensive line. I like them, but I'm not in love with them. The fact that we're not going to have 1 or 2 guys, probably in the top 10 as of now, definitely have some time to, for guys to kind of move. But right now, it's not top heavy. It's more of a depth situation. We have a lot of names, but we don't have a lot of stars. And I think that goes, that is the same thing with the interior defensive line. After young Jalen Carter, after that, you're looking at maybe a Brian Breesy or was it Kalijah Cansey, or I want to don't get me to say the wrong name, but for the young man from Pitt. And then, again, there may be only 1, possibly 2 defensive tackles taken in the first round. So a little bit light there, but yeah, cornerback, tight end, if you're in need, this is the draft to be in.
Yep, I agree.
Oh, running back. I'm sorry, running back. A lot of talent at running back.
It is.
After Bijan and Gibbs, a couple different flavors. Some of them small, some of them look like change of pace backs. But a lot of talent, probably some very, very good talent going to fall well into the 3rd, 4th, 5th round. I think Daniel Jeremiah said he had 13 running backs with grades of 1st to 3rd round. So watch the running back position.
We're going to go ahead and take a quick break for Enter the Lab podcast. And here's a word for our sponsors.
Do you sit back and say, man, these walls just need something? Feel like it's time to freshen up your place with something new? If your answer is yes, then it's time to call Rob of Lewis Paints Plus, the accent wall expert. Rob will even give you a free estimate on how he can transform those boring walls in your home. To book today, call 240-418-5241 or reach out on Instagram at Lewis Paints Plus. And for 10% off, tell him Red Zone sent you.
And we are back with Enter the Lab podcast, and we're going ahead and continue the conversation. Now, we talked about the draft, we talked about the future. Let's go ahead and talk about the old heads that, going to be looking for a job this year. What are some guys that your teams are looking at free agency-wise that can help be on the market? We still see some couple moves going on, see some cuts, restructured, things like that, some rumors. Obviously, the 2 big quarterback names, Lamar Jackson and Aaron Rodgers. We're going to see what's up with those guys. But actually, matter of fact, let's go ahead and talk about Lamar, because that's going to take maybe almost 2 hours, right? So Lamar getting this tag, to me, it's not really surprising. I've been feeling it for kind of weeks, especially from the Baltimore fan base. What's going on? I just have this feeling like it's just so weird that they're testing what the market is for him, and then you're hearing all these names. Even like my team, like Washington, they're even saying no, I don't think we want to take a swing. And I understand from a financial aspect, right? A team that's going to have a lot of young players with contracts coming up soon, especially with the defensive line, cornerback position, Cam Curl, guys like that. But we're talking about Lamar Jackson. We are talking about some people argue top 5 quarterback, Top 10 quarterback. Don't matter. He's one of the top quarterbacks in the NFL. This dude is 45-16 as a starter. He is 15-1 against the NFC by himself. So he comes in NFC, hopefully, he'll be arguably, not even arguably, he'll be the best quarterback in this conference. So I'm going to ask C. Henry, what are your thoughts about Lamar in this tag situation? Do you think it's like a scheme against him, or he's hurting himself because not having like he represented himself? Do you think those things are affecting him?
This is such a layered question here, DT. We're gonna stick to the on-field stuff as of right now, and then we can talk a little bit later about some of the other things outside of the football. But to your question, I think that I have to look at things. I try to look at things always objectively. I have to look at things from the player's perspective as well as the ownership's perspective. When I look at Lamar, he is well within his right to ask for whatever he wants to ask, whatever he's asking for, whatever he's rumored to be asking for. You had a player in Deshaun Watson who was a very good player, not very, very decorated, not very, very accomplished, if you will, but a good player who's had some problems off the field. Would bring the question definitely some character. And he got a wonderful deal, an unprecedented deal, a deal that reset the market, okay? So then you have a player. Normally, when this happens, whoever resets the market, the next player of that same or similar caliber, they set it again. That's usually how it works. That's been how it's working for my 40 plus years of watching football. You know what I'm saying? So he set that. He got that deal. It was given to him, by Jimmy Haslam. I don't know if he went rogue outside of the thinking of the rest of the owners, but he wanted him, and that's what he did. So now Lamar is the next man up. Lamar, like you said, is 45-16. He's in his prime. He is an MVP of this league. He has a sterling record off the field. No character issues that we know of. He hasn't played with the dominant player, the likes of DeAndre Hopkins. So to me, he's well within his rights to ask for this contract. Now, the issue here is it takes two to tango. You know what I'm saying? So he can ask for it, but is he going to get it is the question. And I think what you're saying now is a combination of things. I think there are some people who don't. If you just, I know you're regularly on Twitter. Lady E, I know you're regularly on there as well. And you see the comments about him. He's a polarizing figure. Some people don't think that he's a great player. Some people don't have confidence in his throwing ability and his ability to be a winner at the quarterback position in this league. Then there's some folks who feel like, maybe there's something else going on outside of the football thing. I think it's a combination. I think it's some folks who don't really like his style, don't really like his look, don't really like, his persona, even though he has no problem. Some folks just feel threatened by, looks and things. And I think that there's also some questions about his worth. Is he worth a fully guaranteed contract? He hasn't finished the last 2 years. I think he's missed 5 games. So there's a lot of questions and a lot of layers that going to go on with Lamar. And time will tell, man. Time will tell, how this is going to work itself out. Lady E, I'm going to pass it to you.
I mean, hey, well, Henry was in my space the other day when we had a full-fledged conversation about that. I believe, like I said, I don't see any issues with it. It's just shocking that we just haven't seen or heard. We heard more teams backing out than we have, heard more teams being in interest. So it's just shocking that I don't know if it's the injuries that are holding him up. Again, like I said, we had a conversation about this, and a lot of people think that he can't throw. And I'm just like, okay, well, you have to understand the system that he's in. I mean, he made Mark Andrews one of the top tight ends. I mean, he ain't no Travis Kelce, but he put him up there in that conversation with the Travis Kelce, with a Kittle. So again, he's throwing to somebody, but we have to look at the system that he set up in. Is a system made for him? Yes, it is made for him, but does it showcase the things that we seen when he was at Louisville? And no, it does not. It doesn't showcase that throwing ability like that. He doesn't have wide receivers. The best wide receiver that we can really talk about that he had was Hollywood Brown. They don't have him no more. So his best target right now, as we can look, is literally going to be Mark Andrews. So that's not a good sample size to judge this man from when we're thinking about it. So again, I feel like a lot of people are putting that past. Again, this man has every right, like Henry said, to to ask for what he wants. I mean, any quarterback can ask for what he wants. Brett Prescott did it, and guess what? He got what he wanted. So I feel like in the situation, the Ravens need to sit down and listen to him. I mean, he did get Georgia's offensive coordinator, Todd Monken, and he's great with tight ends, but he's also great in that passing game. You got your passing coordinator. So I don't know if they're trying to do something to get that, but in the same token, you guys spent so much on offense over the past couple of years that you still haven't given this man the tools that he needed, but you're spending money on offense. So we have to really sit down and look and see what the Ravens, are they actually in it for him? Are they going to help him? Or are they just doing the things that they feel is what's needed for the team, and that's going to hinder him? He is an MVP, but again, he can win it like Mahomes. He can win it double time, but I don't feel like he's given the right tools in the right way to get him there, because we haven't seen a lot. And then the injuries doesn't help either. So
those are great points by you two. So another player who also got tagged this weekend was Saquon Barkley. Now this situation in New York was kind of like two cars trying to reach to the end of the line, and then one car had transmission failure right there. And Daniel Jones, he actually got that contract, and it's unfortunate for Saquon. I mean, I understand, for him being the running back. I think him being the running back just alone is kind of a reason why they didn't want to really invest all that money into him. But he's still one of their best players on that team. He is a reason why they had that resurgent year under Brian Daboll. I'm going to ask you, E, what are your thoughts about Saquon being tagged? I mean, this guy has been one of the reasons why they have been winning. He's been a very exciting player. And, it's one of those situations with a running back, like this could be the last year we see Saquon in New York.
Yeah, I mean, I'm trying to remember the last time that I ever seen a running back get tagged. I want to say it was Zeke, but I think the Dallas Cowboys fixed that situation with Zeke, but I really haven't seen a running
your
back.
Your boy Le'Veon got tagged
and
he did. Sat out.
He sat out. Okay, I'm like, I can't remember the last time, but we're not even gonna talk about Bell, because that was a situation that was just, yeah. But in this situation, Saquon has done so much for the Giants. Again, he's one of their top players, and I just feel like, again, the running back market is very slim when you really think about it. It's not that many running backs that we can consider. I want to say like in the top 5. I mean, like, to me, he's number 1, to be honest with you, besides Derrick Henry, but that's not fair. He's a linebacker that's playing a running back position, but that's just how I see it. So, but like, again, I agree with DT. I think it's more so they didn't want to spend all that money, but again, you're going to set the pace for the running back market. Do I think he deserves every little bit of dime that he think that he wants? Yes, every player does. They're putting their body on the line. We saw that this year, where they're literally putting their bodies on the line. But in the same token, I think the Giants are really going to do him injustice. And I do feel like if they don't reach a deal, and I don't know, I think his tag was non-exclusive too. If another team comes in there and feels like they can scoop in, and the Giants just, cannot match that, that's the end of it for the Giants. I really do feel sorry for those, because again, Saquon has done a lot for that city. He has done a lot for that team. It was a weird situation to see him get tagged, and then, we're going to talk about it later, but then Daniel Jones get an extension. So it really didn't make sense in that regard, especially the timing of how everything played out.
I think it's kind of crazy. I'm gonna give kudos to the GM over there, because I don't know if I would have given Daniel Jones the money that he ended up getting, but if that's the cost of doing business, and you keep your 2 stars together, who just came off of a playoff year and a playoff win, I should say. Yeah. That's what you have to do. I don't know if the GM totally believes in either one of them, to be honest with you. He's kind of played it by ear, like, hey, basically we got a number. If they fall within that number, we keep them. If not, hey, we'll see what they can get, and we'll take the picks. You know what I mean? So yeah. I think Daniel Jones was smart, and finally, coming to the table and saying, hey, I'll accept that, because I don't know if he was going to get out here if he got the non-exclusive tag. He probably would have lost $6 or $7 million in just this year's salary alone, let alone the guarantees that he got in the 4-year deal. So I think it was kudos for him. In terms of Saquon, again, we just talked about when we talked about Bijan, how the position has been kind of devalued by teams. Teams look differently at it. And then there's a plethora of running back. We just said there's 13 guys who are going to be ranked in the first 3 rounds of this next draft. You can easily kind of replenish or replace a solid to good running back. Saquon has had the injury problems as well. That does not, that does not bode well in his favor. It's going to be interesting to see what Josh Jacob gets out in, I almost said Oakland, out in Las Vegas because he's a free agent. What Pollard ends up signing for in Dallas if he doesn't play on the tag. And I have to check out the deal that Aaron Jones signed in Green Bay. I think all those can kind of have a little bit of an effect on Saquon's number.
Yeah, I just don't think those were big deals, though. I mean, the Pollard situation in Dallas, we already know with them. But
Pollard getting that Saquon money. He about to get his tag 10, 11 million too.
Look. That's if Jerry even want to sit over there and do that. We'll see.
We'll see.
Hey, what's going on, everybody? It's your new host, DT. I am the host of the Ins and Out D podcast, a friend-friendly NFL podcast where we talk about all the teams, including my own Washington Commanders, even touch on college football. I just gotta tell you guys, this is a great podcast for you to listen to, and you guys can also follow me at D Cleveland Jr. on Twitter. All right, Daniel Jones, Danny dies, Danny do it like I can. So Daniel Jones finally get his money. He finally gets what he was asking for, the 48 million. And when you look at the structure, how that contract is, it's really like a 2-year deal, and they can get out of that the 3rd year. But he finally got his money, and you're looking at a guy like Lamar Jackson, who has accolades, who also has not played with the same amount of talent as Daniel Jones, but he won MVP, and he's carried his team to the playoffs and number 1 seeds, things like that. And Daniel Jones, he's able to get that money. He's only from averaging 15 touchdown passes a year, like a backup. So my question to y'all is, when it comes to Daniel Jones, like, do y'all believe in Daniel Jones? Do y'all think a lot of the things was not his fault, or you just think he's like a top, maybe not bottom 15, but like the 15 to 20, maybe 25 range quarterback?
Bottom 15, that's right.
Bottom 15, yeah. I mean, to be honest with you, we didn't.
Yeah, it's only 32 teams. You ain't in the top. You in the top 16. You in the bottom.
Yeah, because I mean, when you really think about it, and you kind of sit there and you look at it, where was this Daniel Jones over the couple of years? We didn't see that into this year. Like, we didn't see a potential, and I'm not even going to say that we seen something, but we didn't see potential until this year. I do believe that it could be with the situation of the coaching staff. He finally clicked with him. But again, do I see him, 2 years? Yeah, that's a 2-year trial deal. Like, you got to give us the same projection these next 2 years or you're going bye-bye. And I don't think that that's going to be, in my honest opinion, feasible. I think he just, one of those seasons. I feel like he was just like a out of the blue Brock Purdy type person. And you never know. We'll go back and we'll see the same Daniel Jones that we saw years prior. So again, this was one of those years like, I think y'all should have just gave him one more try to see if he has that consistency before giving him his money. Hey, I'm all for getting people's money. I'm all about I'm a recruiter by day, so I'm all about advocating to get your money, but I need to see something first, though.
Yeah, Daniel Jones, I have to tread lightly a little bit. I think it's a combination of a lot of things. First of all, why did he get his money? Because he got that Manning stamp early in his career. He got that Manning family stamp. They put their stamp on him, and like, he's supposed to be that guy. I will, in his defense, just like Lamar, he ain't played with nobody either. He ain't had no great receiving core, no great offensive line or anything like that. But he looked very bad. Probably the equivalent to trash the first 3 or 4 years of his career. Now, to come into this year, he gets a guy like Brian Dable, who I'm a big advocate for in terms of coaching. He came from Buffalo. He had a quarterback in the mold. He had Josh Allen, of course, who's kind of in the mold of Daniel Jones. Daniel Jones is kind of like Josh Allen light, not like, light. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, he was able to, you know what I'm saying, I think maximize his skills. So I get trying to see what more he has, but I think they kind of ran out of time. It was his 5th year.
Yeah.
They had to give him some money. And then, you know, the team did well. You know, they have been struggling for some years. Now they get to the playoffs and then they win a game. They're almost a slave to their success.
Yes.
If they would have won 6 or 7 games, then they'll be right in this quarterback mix right up in here. And then maybe they
with everybody else,
young guys to come in and kind of lead their team forward. But because they won 10, 11 games, won a playoff game, they're like, the fans are like, we got to keep this thing going. Dabo like, well, hell, most of these coaches coming in winning 3, 4 games like my man Dan Campbell did last year. So I got to kind of, you know, stand up a little bit. So, you know, I won 10 games. Let's see what he has. And to your point, DT, it was 4 years, 160, but basically breaks down to 2 years and 82 million, and they can kind of get out of it with the minimal cap hit after the 2 years. So it's kind of an extension, if you will, but that's a hell of an extension. Why would somebody would extend me for $41 million? I go ahead and get my extension and retire.
All right, another one of these pillars has fallen this week, and that is Derek Carr. He is now a New Orleans Saint. So you're going to have to deal with this guy twice a year with New Orleans. And me personally, from my standpoint, I always liked Derek Carr. I wasn't in love with Derek Carr, but I think you can win some games with him, but there's be some games that he'll lose. He's in that Kirk Cousins tier type of quarterbacks. There are guys that like you have to have everything good around him. He can't make a lot of mistakes. If he makes a mistake, it kind of haunts the team, things like that. And I'm kind of interested in him going to New Orleans because, you know, they just proved to me the cap doesn't mean anything right now. They just sign anybody. They cut maybe like 2 people, and they be okay.
They got the best capologists.
Because 2 people say, all right, we got Greg. Where the rest of them come from? So, since y'all got to deal with him twice a year, what do you think about Derek Carr and New Orleans Saints? You think that's going to be a great fit, or that's going to blow up in their face?
I'll be honest with you. I like the ginger. I thought Andy Dalton did a very good job for them last year.
The ginger.
Yeah, the little ginger, the little redhead. But yeah, so I thought he did very well. I was always a fan of Andy Dalton when he played at TCU when he went to the Bengals. So I thought that he did do well. Derek Carr is a step in the right direction, but this shows you right now the Saints are really in to me a win now mode. Like again, they don't have that many young players on the team besides some of their rookies, but you got to think, I call him Mr. Carver if y'all seen the Proud Family movie, but but I see pretty much, I don't even like speaking that man's name. But they're about to lose Michael Thomas, Mr. Slant Boy. They're about to do that. They had their cornerback this year. So again, the Saints are not in a prime position to where they can fully go out and rebuild. I don't think they really prepared for that. My Falcons beat Derek Carr in the Oakland and Las Vegas Raiders a lot of times. So I don't think it's going to be a competition. But we still have to worry about Cam Jordan on that other side. But at the end of the day, like I said, it shows right now that one, yes, the Saints don't believe in the cap, but then 2, that they're really in a win now mode. Like they're trying to get back. But a lot of my insiders from a lot of Saints fans is that they still don't trust Dennis Allen. So we can see. But I didn't see anything wrong with the ginger. I didn't see anything wrong with Andy Dalton.
Well, I saw a lot wrong with Andy Dalton. He definitely they definitely upgraded in Derek Carr. But with that being said, though, I still think that they might be on the road to nowhere because I still have to see really who's going to end up being on their roster. We have Alvin Kamara, who's going to be dealing with some legal issues, it looks like. Yep. Like you said, Michael Thomas may be leaving their squad. They are always in kind of some type of cap. I don't want to say hell, but just it's always an urgent situation with the cap. They always seem to manage it or massage it some type of way. But I want to see if, guys like Demario Davis is still going to be on that roster. Guys like Marcus Lattimore still on that roster and see. And what the other teams do in the division, what Atlanta does, what Tampa Bay does at the quarterback position. So I think it's an upgrade. Definitely went in there and got his $37 million while the getting was good. So shout out to Daniel Jones. I'm sorry. Shout out to David Carr.
You had it right the first time, because that's probably what you're gonna be playing right.
Well, anybody getting 37, 41 million. Shout out to all of them. Gino too.
Hey,
they finally called Gino back, baby. They picked up the phone this time, baby.
Man, y'all terrible, man. So this is some development right now. So Michael Thomas is working on an extension to stay with the New Orleans Saints. So that just
you're gonna push it down the line one more time.
Hey, we'll see what
Slant Boy.
Look, we'll see what Slant Boy gonna do, because he can't be running out them slants no more.
Ah, boy. All right. So let's go ahead and get to the big development topic right now, and we've been hearing all day. Aaron Rodgers and the New York Jets. Look like Aaron Rodgers is about to follow Brett Favre's footsteps from what I'm seeing. If Rodgers goes to the Jets, I think it'll be good for them, because they can finally get a quarterback that can elevate how that young roster. They had a good draft last year with Garrett Wilson. Breece Hall was injured, but he still led the team in rushing after like 6 to 8 weeks, which is absolutely crazy. That defense was top 5. They were getting after people. Sauce Gardner was leading the way with that young group. And it's going to be interesting to see Aaron Rodgers and with the gangrene in New York, in the same division as Josh Allen, and him competing with Patrick Mahomes, finally seeing other quarterbacks in that conference. So I can't wait to see that. Hopefully that happens, and we can also see from the other side of it, we can see what Jordan Love has to offer for the Green Bay Packers, because, time's kind of running out in a sense due to the fact he sat for a couple years. And in my opinion, he should have had an opportunity to start. That team wasn't good. You kind of wasted that young man's opportunity to get some playing time with your young guys, trying to see what he is. I only seen like maybe 3 games. That's not good enough to me to see what type of guy he is. So I'm gonna ask Henry, what do you think about Aaron Rodgers joining Gang Green?
I'm gonna tell you, man. If he leaves the division any way possible, wherever he goes, it'll be good riddance. We will love that. But I'm gonna tell you, to be honest with you, I don't know what Aaron Rodgers is going to do. To be honest, if he goes to New York, I think it definitely upgrades their quarterback position, no doubt. I don't know if the Jets are one player away, though. I think they need a little bit more on their offensive line. I would like to see another playmaker somewhere in their passing game. I love what Garrett Wilson brings to their team. And like you said, though, Breece Hall is coming back from injury. We don't know exactly what level he's going to be at when he comes back to the team. So I don't know if they're one guy away. I think it'll be an upgrade. But I'm going to tell you, I don't think that Aaron Rodgers likes the way this is kind of going down. He has kind of a limited access and limited places to where he can go. We're only hearing about the Jets with him. And Green Bay has kind of quietly said, you know what? We think Jordan Love is ready to play. So really, whatever you can work out, do your thing. So now I heard he went to the hole first. He went to the black hole first to kind of think about it, get some mushrooms in the system, kind of work things out. But then I heard that he's going back to the hole to kind of contemplate things, because I don't know if he wants to, like you said, follow in Brett Favre's footsteps, number one. And I don't think he likes the way Green Bay is kind of playing. I'm like, listen, bro, you can bounce. New coach and all that stuff over there, they're basically telling him that you can bounce. So it's kind of like, he's not getting that farewell tour, if you will. It's kind of like, hey, we got your stuff packed up and ready to go. When you going to come get it?
Oh, man. But, I mean, to your point, see here, I'm going to just say this. Aaron Rodgers didn't help himself either. It was always rumors, even when they got the coach, that he didn't want to play. So again, I'll be honest with you, even if that is thinking like that, you can't blame nobody but yourself, because you didn't really give the team no choice. You didn't act like you wanted to be there. So again, how many seasons now, even before he even got his little extension, that we thought that would be the last time we see Aaron Rodgers playing Green Bay? We always conned him to going back to Cali to go play for the 49ers. So again, I mean, yes, New York Jets, if they can, that's fine. But I'm with you, Henry. I think that he's honestly going to. He has a surprise sleeper team. I mean, unless 49ers are so high on Trey Lance, I don't see them not taking a swing at him to bring him back to Cali and be under that Kyle Shanahan little wing right there. I don't see that.
Let me ask you too. You both a question right now. If you had the opportunity to acquire, because it sounds like he won't. He's gonna have to get a new deal or something to go over to the Jets anyway. But if you had an opportunity to acquire Lamar Jackson or Aaron Rodgers right now, and you're the Jets, who would you pursue?
Ooh, that's a tough one. Because I mean,
that's
a tough. No, I'm just, the only reason why I'm saying it's tough is because Aaron Rodgers still has something left. He's not completely washed, so he does have something left. Especially if the New York Giants are actually making a legit, run at him. He has something left. But then again, you got a younger player in Lamar Jackson. The only question marks you have is really injuries. You know what I mean? But you still can, in my honest opinion, I'm not going to say the same production, but you're going to get pretty much a better player at that position. Okay, I'm not. This is no offense to Mr. I forgot the dude name. What was it? White. What was the last name? I want to call him Sean White for whatever reason. I don't know.
Zach Wilson.
Not Wilson.
Mike White.
Mike White.
Mike White.
Yeah.
Mike White.
No offense to Mike White because he came.
Somebody White.
Yeah. But no, he came out there and he did what he needed to do. And I mean, like, again, shout out to Brock Purdy, too. Coming over there, taking the 49ers and stepping in the way that he did and playing, So, again, I do see that there is something there, but that's a tough question because, again, you've got two players that's going to give you some type of production better than what was done before.
Man, you put me on the spot.
Come on, DT. Come on, baby.
You asked me, okay, you got Aaron Rodgers. We know Nathaniel Hackett's there. There's continuity there. And I know I can get – he still can play. The guy can still play. But you're talking about Lamar Jackson. The only thing going to be for me, Lamar, is like, I hate to say it, it's going to be the contract.
Yeah.
But – I
gotta go. And everybody else pretty much is. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
I gotta go with the brother. Man. I know Black History Month was last month, but I gotta go with the brother. Give me Jackson.
If they had 13, I'd do it then too.
Yeah, I'm not gonna play with you here. I'm not gonna play with you. Not gonna play with you. That's why I said again. Both of them are gonna give you production. I feel like both of them going to give you contract problems. You may can get a little way with it with Aaron Rodgers, but at the same token, the Jets need some help, and it's just not the quarterback. But that's all I got to say about that.
Yeah, just to speak on that, like I said, I alluded to some other things off the field that may be going on here with Lamar, and I do think that your point, T, there is a form of a contract embargo, collusion, if you will, going on by those. Clearly, they have decided that they do not want to go all in on fully guaranteed contracts. Deshaun Watson's deal was, at this point, seems like a one-off. And if Lamar is given a contract similar or greater than Deshaun with the same terms of being fully guaranteed, now it becomes a trend. And now we can see this really, really catch on like wildfire in the NFL. The owners do not want this at all. I believe they have drawn a line in the sand, dug in their heels, and are fully committed to not getting Lamar a fully guaranteed deal that exceeds Deshaun Watson. It's going to be very interesting to see how this works itself out. I got my popcorn ready, and we're going to find out this offseason.
And with that being said, this is episode 1 of Enter the Lab, presented by Red Zone Lab, with the lovely E and C. Henry. I'm your new host, DT. And we'll catch y'all next time.
Thank you for listening to another episode of Enter the Lab with your boy DT, Atlanta's #1 lady, Lady E, and yours truly, C. Henry.